Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hey. Welcome back to Metrotham Tonight. And for the moment that you guys have all been waiting for, the interview with Wolverine himself, Mr. Cal Dodd. Give it for Mr. Cal Dodd. Yes! Wolverine claws and all.
Good day.
So, Cal, how are you doing today?
I'm terrific. It was a beautiful day here. What's the temp where you guys are? Oh, you're in Chattanooga.
Yes, Chattanooga. We're at about 75 and rainy.
Yeah, 75 and rainy today.
Okay, we're at about for the last 3 or 4 days we've been at about 95 and counting.
Wow,
we know what that's like.
Really stupid. Yeah. But apparently we're getting a lot of rain from Hurricane Martha. What's her name? The hurricane that's going to hit Texas and Houston and.
I think it's Martha.
Well, there's two.
Martha, I think it is. Yeah, two of them. Anyway, we're supposed to get a bit of rain, but see, Canadians always like to talk about weather. That's all because they're so bored. Wonder what it's going to be like tomorrow.
All about weather and gooses. Am I right?
And geese.
And geese.
Not gooses.
Look at me.
And geese.
My English teacher would be smacking that ruler on my hand right now.
That's right.
And so, speaking of gooses, we noticed that on Facebook you have been having a adventure with a goose that apparently has taken up home next to your home.
Yeah.
Right?
Approximately, well, if I could take you there, I'd just show it's the garage. It's the roof of the garage right next door, and there's no one living there. There hasn't been anyone there for about 1.5 years. And she set up her nest on top of this thing, like literally. So I got a ladder and I started feeding her because their so-called mate would only appear every 5 days or something. He was just down by the river, which is below the house here, where I assumed that's where she's going to take the babies, the goslings, when they hatch.
Yeah.
Well, bad thinking because she couldn't get off this property when they did hatch. But I named her Gilda, and I would go up and feed her and sing to her. And it got to be a huge following. And I actually had a little, not a TV station, but an engineer got a hold of it, and he said, "Can I have all the films that you've taken, that I filmed stuff?" And he cut them all together to 12 20-minute episodes. And he said that they're talking about doing a documentary because it went from her sitting there like freezing cold, because it was cold in March, late March, and by herself. And finally they hatched after 28 days, only 2 of them. The third egg never hatched.
Oh.
And they got down. It was an experience of them getting off the roof, because it's like a 15-foot drop. These are little things, Anyway, so they wandered around, and we finally ended up, we had to call the Wildlife Federation, and they came and caught her, and the little ones were running around like geese with their heads cut off, running around going, "What are you doing, Mom and Dad?" Because both the mom and dad were here at that point. They took him away, and they released him just down here, and we've seen them since. So it was a happy ending. And that just started this whole thing. So I'm on Facebook, and I record one to two tunes every night since then, of anything. So I'm up to about 120 tunes or something. I think I told you.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Putting in work.
Yeah, because for those.
No, but people, and as you were saying, people don't. I mean, that's not why we're here today, because we're here for this guy. So can you see? Yeah, you can see.
Yeah. We're here.
You see my friend here.
We're here for you. We're here for you.
Yeah.
I know, but I know that it confuses me. What? Because it confused me when I saw Hugh Jackman. When I saw him, he's following me around, eh?
Oh, really?
Well, no. What did he do? He didn't. I did Wolverine first, and then he was introduced to me, and he was told, get as close as you can to Cal's voice, because the kids, the only reference they have for Wolverine is Cal's voice for 5 years with the series. So and this is the year 2000, and he said, "Well, yeah, of course." So he listened, and we find that just before they were going to start the shooting, or maybe they were even in it, he came up. We were introduced at a function, so the 2 Wolverines were there, and I'd never met him. Of course, I'm not in the acting field, so he came up. And we said, "This is Hugh Jackson. This is Cal Dodd." He said, "Tell me." He started shaking his head and shook my hand. He said, "It's a pleasure to meet you, Mike, but I got to tell you, I'm sick and tired of listening to your voice." Because he had to listen to it so many to try and get it for the movie, for the role in the movie. And so, you know.
He was just like, Cal, thank you so much, but oh my God, stop it.
No, yeah. So now he does. So he did the movies and stuff, and a great success, to great success, I might add, and like wonderful actor. And then he's been doing this song and dance thing that he does in a one-man show, like singing.
Yes.
Well, that's what I started out doing. That's what I did. That's my forte. And I said, he's following me around. So I did Wolverine. He snuck up and took that job, like doing the movie portion. Then I was the singer in Canada for jingles and commercials and all that stuff, and back up people's albums. And I have my own rock and roll group and stuff. And I toured with Joe Cocker, years ago. And what's he do? He has a one-man show now, but kudos to him. He always gives a shout out. I heard from people who went to see his show that he always gives a shout out to me, especially being the original voice, and said I got to give a shout out to that voice. So, which is so wonderful and gracious of him to do that.
Yeah,
he's a great guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that just shows how humble he is.
Oh, no. So then, as you know, I don't know whether you know it or not, but I had a TV show from 78 to 83 that was syndicated worldwide, and it was called Circus, and it was all circus acts. And it was based on a Donnie and Marie show. So I was Donnie, the girl that was with me was Marie, of course. And then we had like all kinds of song and dance routines, like, for 6 dancers. And it was a terrific show amongst all the acts that were going on. Trapeze, elephants, tigers, everything was there. What did he do last? He did the movie about the circus.
Oh, The Greatest Showman, of course.
The Greatest Showman. And I'm going, because I played the circus that leads the whole thing, the ringmaster, the two of us. And we had the hat and the stupid outfits and the boots up to here. And so what does he do? Way to go, Hugh. No, he'll catch up one day.
He's following the Cal Dodd road to success.
I know. Of course he is.
You know the path forward.
Yeah, you know the path. You should be selling success books online. You should have those ads on YouTube. You want to get rich quick? Look at my Lamborghini in my garage. You follow the Cal Dodd road to success.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You will be able to have and then pull out the claws.
Well, got him where he wanted to go, I guess.
Well, like him, and just saying this now to the people at home, when you watch this, I highly recommend going to Cal's Facebook and looking at his videos that he makes when he sings. Because, boy, you think of, like Cal, because I think of you and all, I think of Wolverine. I think of Bub, and then when you sing, oh my God, it's such a transition. Mm-hmm. You have such you have a very, very good voice. You have a very, you can hit them low, you can hit them high, like your voice.
Tell Cyclops I made him a convertible. and then you turn and you hear, God, I hear my breath.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh, yes.
What? That came out of the same person? No, I know people are just going, like, that's what I was getting at, the point about you. So when I saw him, the first time I saw him going on singing and dancing with dancers, helping, I went like, oh, stop doing that. Don't. No, because he was Wolverine in my brain. I'm watching like, oh no, he's not going to dance. He's singing and dancing. Wolverine doesn't do that.
Wolverine doesn't sing and dance. Where's your cigar?
Man, I know. But that's what I mean. That's what I meant about that. It's like it confuses people because, he got that voice and that attitude because he didn't take anything from anybody and he goes where he wants to go. And then, like I just sang that thing, like, it's crazy. It's just a total different thing. Totally.
How the tables turn.
Yeah.
So Cal, of course you are the iconic Wolverine. You were the Wolverine of my generation, that's for sure, and continuing to go on. Now, how was the audition process to become Wolverine? Like, when they decided to make the show, did they have a list of voice actors and you were already one of them? They were like, yeah, this is the guy? Or how was that audition process go?
No, I hadn't. As a matter of fact, we've been talking about, I was the singer in Canada for jingles and session singer, studio stuff. I went to Chicago, flew to New York, flew to Montreal, but did most of my work in Toronto, like, singing, beers, bras, whatever, cornflakes and stuff. Never ever did a voiceover. And I had done a commercial for Chrysler. I don't know if I should have mentioned that, but it doesn't. It was so long ago. It'd be like 1991 or 90 or 91. 90.
91 was a very good year.
And I was singing. But they wanted the voice. I was singing like, who's got all the 4x4s? As opposed to, who's got all the 4x4s? They wanted a gruff, they wanted the sergeant. And because the other singer's going like, Chrysler's got the 4x4s, round off, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's Chrysler. And that was a singing job for me. So a year and a half later, the guy that was on that session phoned me and said, do you do voiceovers? I said, well, no, I haven't. He said, well, would you like to be our voice of Chrysler? It's like, whoa, let me think. Yes.
Yeah.
And it was automatic. I went and did a year and a half of the voiceover for Chrysler. Like, nobody competes like a Chrysler dealer of Ontario. Nobody in that style of a voice. It was almost like Wolverine. And that was the
only Chrysler.
That was the only commercial I'd ever done voiceover wise. And so the girl that was in charge of casting, Karen Gura, for the X-Men, it was called the Project X, because it was a secret audition thing. They wouldn't want anyone to know what they were doing, because they were in from LA and New York, and they had landed in Toronto to audition. Mm-hmm. She said, go to this thing to audition for a part of Wolverine. And I said, who's that? Who's Wolverine? Well, seriously. And all of us that auditioned, that eventually got their roles, didn't have a clue who the X-Men were at all. So I showed up, and they showed me a picture of him, and I loved the looks of him. He said, so what is he? Who? They told me a short synopsis of his life and his feelings, because it's hard to explain everything to a voiceover person. Okay, but when I read his first line, I do, because I grew up in a small town, fishing town, Lake Erie, Port Dover, and all we did was play hockey and fight. Play hockey because it was a summer town, so the population tripled in the summer because people had cottages there. It was a nice beach on the lake. But the rest of us lived there. There were only 3,200 of us all winter long, and a lot of good hockey players came out of Port Dover. So that's the kind of town it was. So you always had to be on guard for anything. And, it was just constant growing up, like, oh no, not here he comes again. And I had to take a different way home from school. So when I read this line, when I read this line, it was like, and this is the first thing they ever gave to me. He said, and I said, who's Sabretooth? Who's he? He said, oh, it's just another character. It's a guy that they don't really get along, and they're always fighting. I said, okay. And he said, Wolverine's only like 5'3". I said, 5'3"? He said, yeah, something like that. It's built like a fire hydrant. I said, okay, I can see that. Kind of like this, which is like 5'3".
Yeah.
And I read the line was, you like pushing around people smaller than you? Well, I'm smaller than you. Pick on me.
Oh.
They just went,
Goosebumps.
what? Said, quick, give him more lines. So it's like, I know what you're thinking, punk. Question is, can I get Wolverine before he turns me into shish kebab with those claws? Well, bub, seeing as how these claws are adamantium, the strongest metal known, and can slice through vanadium steel like a hot knife through butter, buddy, you gotta ask yourself, do I feel lucky? They just said,
oh God!
Thank you. You can go. That's awesome. They just kept handing me stuff.
Check.
All right, we
yeah. So they phoned me the next night and said, "You're our Wolverine. Can you do that?" And I said, "Yeah, I think so." Yeah. And that was the beginning of 5 years of the best 5 years of my life. It was just unbelievable.
That's
And all of us were all like, none of us knew who they were. Beast, George Booza said that he had a couple of comic books of X-Men or something. I said, okay, whatever you say, George, but he, you know. And George was with me when we came to, I finally talked, I talked him into coming to Chattanooga because we were willing to get him on board because he didn't know what I was talking about.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we were happy. George, he was fantastic. He was
Oh, yeah.
And, oh, my God, his hot sauce.
I was about to bring that up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, I put that on my pancakes in the morning. Like, this is nothing. Oh, my God.
Oh, he does. He's crazy. And he looks like Beast. To me, he looks like Beast, you know, the same grizzly shape and stuff, you
And
know.
the beard, the facial expression,
Yeah.
like he's...
Yeah, exactly.
Looks like a
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
look, for him to have the hot sauce that he ingests every day, he has to be a beast. And
Yeah.
like no normal man can just handle that every day.
Now, did Rogue show up? Was Rogue in Metrotham?
Oh yeah, Lenore,
Yep.
yeah, she did.
Oh, okay.
She showed up. So we had you, Lenore, and George,
Mhm.
and then of course we had Eric and Julia. We had Larry and Mark.
Yeah.
Yep. Larry
Yeah.
Houston and Mark Eden. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we had a full crew, which was
Yeah.
excellent. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it was.
I got the pleasure of being the handler for Eric and Julia, and that was just really cool because I grew up watching the show, and now
Oh,
I'm
man.
two lead writers on the show, and I'm getting to
Yes.
talk to them about everything that I grew up with, and then sitting 2 tables down from you and 1 table away from Rogue, and I mean it almost brought tears to my eyes. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I was running around putting out fires left and right. That was my job. But I was filled with jealous envy. I was green with jealous envy of Brian being able to sit right there next to all of you guys because I had so many questions. But I am reading the book that Eric and Julia wrote.
Oh, yeah.
Previously on X-Men, and of course I got
Yep.
Can you see that? Oh, yeah. But can you see this picture?
yes. All right. Well, I can
Just
see the
these-
previously on X-Men.
Okay, I'll be right with you.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll take this time. Previously on X-Men, written by Eric and Julia Lewald. I highly recommend everybody watching or reading this book. It is-
Okay, so this is Jubilee, Allison Court, and you know that story because she was a little girl, lived across the street from me.
yes.
Yeah.
You heard that story? Mm-hmm. And she ended up being Jubilee, and anyway, this is our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau,
You met Trudeau.
this dude here.
With the book in his hand.
With the book, we presented it to him, but the thing is, Jubilee, Allison gave him the book, because Allison set the whole sort of thing up with the Prime Minister, and brought me with her, because, fantastic, you gotta bring Wolverine with you. And so she presented the book to him, gave it to him, and shook his hand, and then he says to her, I'll deal with Wolverine now. And I heard him say that, and so he turned to me and I said, this quote from this picture here, which was right to our Prime Minister, anytime, pretty boy. Because he is a great-looking kid. I mean, great-looking guy. And I'm squeezing his hand. I'm squeezing his hand so hard that he couldn't stop laughing. But I'm just like, anytime, pretty boy. So, and we had a riot. It was just a blast.
Man,
That's so cool.
Yeah,
so awesome.
yeah, it was great.
Anytime, pretty boy. Man,
Oh, yeah.
I wish I could say that to Trudeau.
Right.
Sometimes.
Right.
Call Trudeau pretty boy. Oh man.
You'd have to get that.
But
It
he,
wouldn't land as well with
No,
that
I
not
couldn't.
coming from Cal here.
Yeah,
so.
I couldn't play that voice if I tried.
oh, yeah, he could. I'm sure he could.
Maybe.
Anyway, he loved it, and we both laughed our arses off. So it was great. It was a great meeting. It was great meeting him, and he just loved the series. Great fan of the series for all his life, and he it was just a riot to break him up like that. And I'm just squeezing the hell out of his hand too. And the security guys, they're at the back like this, like, what's he doing? Is the Prime Minister okay? What's going on?
Mr. Okay? It's like, of course he's not. He's with Wolverine right now.
It's like, we gotta hope he's okay.
We gotta hope he's okay. So along with the show, we know that you've done voiceovers for the show, but you've also done voiceovers for the video games as well. Yeah.
Which I can't, they were done like in one day, and it was like, I can't remember. Just asking questions. Why is he going over this way? What's the direction? Like, it was a video game that I had no idea what I was doing, and like snicked and like whatever he would yell out and stuff.
Yeah.
But Capcom, I think, was the first one. That I did.
Marvel versus Capcom.
Marvel versus Capcom.
Yeah.
And you were actually the voice of
Captain America.
Captain America
Yeah.
and Iceman as well.
Yes.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
were able to nail all three of those characters. And
Yeah.
I loved those games growing up, and after doing the research and finding out that you were all three of those characters, I was like, "That's so cool."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Brian, so at one point, I don't know whether it was Metrotham Con, it might have been, but they made a banner for me, for my booth, whatever. And I noticed a picture of Iceman. On my banner, and I said, what character is that? And I had totally forgotten that I had done that role. It's Iceman.
Yeah.
And then also Goosebumps. They had the Goosebumps picture.
That was another thing that I was going to bring up.
Mm-hmm.
That you were Slappy the Clown, or Slappy the Puppet. Yeah.
The dummy. Slappy the dummy. Yeah. Talk about two different voices, like Wolverine, and then Slappy. He's like, that's kind of an evil, twisted voice. But the kids went crazy at the trial when I found out there was any interest in him at all, in Slappy. The little kids, it's amazing because they watch Goosebumps too, like the ones this is like lately, they'd be 5 or 6 now doing Comic-Cons, and they were into Goosebumps, whereas X-Men was too far back for them, and they hadn't started, and their parents were getting them into X-Men. We're just introducing, because now we can stream it on Disney Plus or whatever. And
got my subscription.
Pardon? Yeah, but mine's on. I bought it on Bluetooth like the whole 5 years.
Yeah.
Just to have that certified collection.
Yeah. I'm just starting to watch it again. I started about a year ago, and I just laugh my arse off. It's just such. Oh no! He had the best lines. My kid, and he was so funny underneath all this. I mean, the quote. I couldn't get over most of the really good quotes from Wolverine came in the first 2 episodes. Like, tell Cyclops I made him a convertible. And I go where I want to go. He says that a couple of times in the first 2 episodes. What's the one I'm trying to think of? So the episode, they're looking for Jubilee outside of the thing. So it's like the second episode, and Wolverine jumps down from a tree that he was standing overhead, and like the rest of them, Beast and the Cyclops, and they're all standing around and look. And they said, "Did you find her?" And he says, "No, the scent went cold outside of the mansion." And he says, for no reason, he says, "Got bit by a dog too." Like, what? Who asked you?
Those quick little jokes that because it was so cool because he was such a serious character.
Yeah.
I know.
When he gave those jokes, it was completely unexpected and it would catch you off guard, and it put an element to the character.
And when the talking soldiers, I think the old soldiers, was the episode when he went back to Paris, France, before he had the claws or anything, and he met Captain America.
Yeah.
Who's got like the outfit on and the big circular thing, Captain America. And he saves Wolverine's life. Like, this thing comes flying, and what's it like? Wow. And so who are you? He says, Captain America. Wolverine says, "No kidding." It's like, obviously, look at it. So then they're climbing up. He gives Wolverine some fake claws or something to help them climb up a cliff, which is very cool. The way that's like, because later after he said, "These things come in handy, don't they?" the claws that Captain America gave him. But on the way up, he says, "What's that thing made of anyway?" It's like, "This is his suit. What's that? What's that made of?" I don't know what Captain America's response was. He says, "Wolverine," and this is while they're climbing, but he says, "It's got to itch. It's got to itch." It was just those like little things that they interjected in the episodes and stuff that he had. Just great classic lines, like you say, he was like the tough guy and everything. But it's just like, wow, it's got to itch. Anyway.
Yeah, it's got to itch. It's got to. That's so funny.
That's like as bad as got bit by a dog too.
Got bit by a dog too. Quick ones, and you notice it in the series. Like I've also been rewatching the series as well, and it's funny that you bring that up because I was actually thinking to myself the other day, I was just like, Wolverine's funny.
Yeah.
Wolverine's funny in this show. Like, he's got some zingers.
He is.
Questions?
Yeah. One thing that I was able to find, I just wanted to ask you, what was it like working on Fraggle Rock?
Oh, that was a treat. Again, that was all singing. Yeah. We were hired, Sharon Lee Williams and myself. So Sharon Lee and myself were hired to help the cast, the rest of them, like, good Lord, Jerry. I think Jerry died, but he was great. And the redheaded character. It's been so long. But anyway, they were all great people, and they just needed help when they were singing and a song to do. And Sharon Lee and I would build up the sound, like just make sure that everyone is in tune and like sing along with them. Okay. So it's like down at Fraggle Rock, we did the whole intro, the two of us mainly, with the kids, the rest of them joining in with us. And Jim Henson came in twice, and I couldn't believe it because I was talking to Kermit. And I said, "I do a good Kermit." And he said, "Oh, you do?" I said, "Yeah, yes, I do." Which reminds me of another story with Norm Spencer in the audition. Not in the audition, in a tape recording of X-Men. What episode? It doesn't matter what the episode was. But anyway, so and Jim sang this record, which became a bit of a hit. So why are there always songs about rainbows? And he said, "Wow." But anyway, we were just there to back up, and it was like a steady gig too for 5 years doing that. 4 or 5 years. And just wonderful people. Yeah. Fraggle Rock.
Did you ever,
down at Fraggle Rock.
Now, we know that you met, you said that you met Jim Henson. Did you ever get to meet Bill Diamond during that time working on the show? Bill Diamond was the puppeteer behind that show. He was one of the puppeteers. He made the puppets for Fraggle Rock. He was actually at Metrotham. Mm-hmm. He was next to Guy Gilchrist. He was in the tables in front of you guys.
Yeah, wasn't I across? I mean, across from us? Yeah.
Across from you, yeah.
Wasn't I? Did I talk? Is this not the long-haired guy?
No, that would be Guy. Yeah. That's Guy Gilchrist. He was the guy. Bill was the person next to him.
Okay, I did meet him, but no, I never saw him when we were doing the show.
Yeah, he was in LA doing all the puppeteer stuff.
Yeah.
He was working on puppets.
Oh, but I went into the studio where they shot the stuff, which was just mind blowing. You know how the doozers and the stuff, and it was because all the puppeteers, of course, have to stand up, and they got the puppets above ground, and it was like a little railway station, a railroad track that was built above them in this entire huge room. Whoa, so that they could walk around. Because I played a doozer at one point. They gave me the role of a doozer. Yeah. And I forget what I said.
Doozer is as doozer does.
Yeah. But I was blown away with like, wow, and watching them like, film this stuff with these. Just what a gift. What a great series.
That just sounds like an excellent.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
That sounds like a really fun show to put on.
Yeah.
Surrounded by puppets and this extravagant sort of, stage setup and everything. Yeah. That must just be like, I've never been into something like that, and that just must be awe. Just be struck with awe to see something like that.
Yeah.
That's gotta
Especially
be so
something so iconic like that. I mean, you worked on.
Oh, no kidding.
Things like Fraggle Rock is huge. X-Men the Animated Series is huge. Goosebumps is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been a part of a lot of things that I grew up with, and it really it was really cool when I found out we were going to be able to interview you today. It was like,
Ah, great, Brian. I love it.
It's just you've been such
I,
a big part of all of our childhoods.
yeah, but I so miss the, can you hear me when I sit back like this?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can.
I so miss the contact with the people at a Comic-Con. Like, this whole year was just down the drain. I had 8 or 9 of them that were just canceled because, you know, you can't go anywhere.
yeah.
And they seems like they're starting to try and get it together for next February and March.
And you're still
Good,
like,
good luck. You know, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
And they're saying you have to prove that you've had the vaccination. I'm like, vaccination? Good luck with that.
yeah,
No
exactly.
vaccination for SARS yet. What do you mean vaccination? Well, hopefully. No, but hopefully they'll find something. But
Hopefully.
I don't know if that'll happen or not. You know, we'll have to see.
Treatment.
Yeah, we got our
One or the other.
fingers crossed over here because we miss going to conventions. And
Oh, yeah.
it wasn't last year. Last year was what? Wasn't that your first time doing
Yeah.
convention stuff?
Yeah.
How was that? How was that feeling going to your first convention and then seeing all these fans come up to you and like what kind of stories, what kind of reactions did you get from the fans?
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe, first of all, what they were saying. I said, I wasn't ready for all that attention. And I say this honestly, and love from these people. And to a person, they all said, "Thank you for making my childhood." I was like, okay, well, I'm glad I could do so. So no, you made my childhood. And then some of them, it got crazy. Like some of them were so devoted, and like, you saved my life. I was gonna, convince. It was crazy. Gonna jump off a roof when I was 12, and I said, well, I can't because I'd miss the X-Men on Saturday morning. And I had this father and daughter, and they both were autistic. And I'll never forget this. He came up, and he was dressed in black, the Wolverine black thing that he had on with the claws on as well, and his daughter. And he stood there, and he just spoke for 2 minutes. It's like he had rehearsed it or something. He just spoke. And I let him speak, and he said, "You saved my life. The reason I'm alive is because of your character and the series, X-Men series." And on, and I was always teased and picked on because I'm autistic, and this is my daughter. She is also autistic, and she was 12 or 13, I think. And she just sat there very quietly, and he said, I had to come over and tell you how much you meant to my life and why I'm here, and I have this beautiful daughter of mine, and I just wanted to thank you. And I'm like, what do you say? So I just, well, you were so welcome, and like gave him something like the photo and the autograph. He had these on, and I have mine there, and so I took mine off because I put my hand out to shake his hand, and he took the claw off, and he put his hand out and he shook my hand, and then he quickly put them back on, and he turned, and the two of him and his daughter walked away, and his wife was off to the side, and she came running up to the table as they walked away. She said, and she was in tears. She said, I can't believe what I just saw. She said, he's autistic. Yeah, I know that. He's never, ever touched another human being. As long as I have known him, he's never, ever, it's part of his thing. He does not do that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But he took his claw off and shook my hand because it was Wolverine that he was meeting. And at that point, I lost it. It's like, but that happens all the time.
I got goosebumps just from that story.
I'll never forget that, ever. And I could just, and they just walked away. And it happens all the time. And so I miss that stuff in those people. And I don't know how it's ever going to get back to that. Because I'd be hugging them, for God's sakes, and your picture taken with them, and doing fun stuff, and kissing little girls and stuff. That ain't gonna happen ever again. I mean, in the near future, anyway, till this COVID crap disappears.
Yeah.
So
You
I
might have to do hugs, but you might have to do them 6 feet apart. A lot of air hugs with
yeah.
masks on.
Yeah, I know, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. It's just not the same thing. But I know what you're saying. I'll get some extra long claws and pull them in.
So, especially after feeling all of this love from fans, I know that COVID is going on and all of this other stuff, but after your first convention, is that really what sunk it in that I want to be a part of this con circuit now? I want to
Oh yeah.
go out after the first one?
Oh yeah. I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. And then all I saw were airports for the next year and a half. Oh no, it's like this. Oh my gosh. It was crazy, but I just looked so forward to it. This is just 3 days, 3 days, including the travel, whatever. Sometimes maybe 4, but it's just, and I haven't traveled a lot in years. And my wife said, this is unbelievable because you wouldn't even look at a plane. Now you're on one every 3 weeks. I said, yeah, just try and keep up. Try and keep up, honey. Yeah. So we just love it. We get to see, we're getting to see everyone in the world and meet. We go to wonderful places in Chattanooga. I couldn't believe I'm at the station. Like, pardon me, boys, is that the cat who chewed your new shoes? Is that the Chattanooga choo-choo? And there I am singing in the station. That God on Bring 'Em Home from Les Mis.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, our friend Hugh did played that role in Les Mis, for God's sakes. Yeah.
I told you.
Come on.
Cal Dodd's road to success. You need to start.
Oh,
You
jeez.
need to do commercials on YouTube.
Oh, Hugh.
You gotta land in your role, and then you gotta be an accomplished singer.
Yeah, that's right.
Voiceovers for just about everything.
You have to work and you have to do a show about a circus.
Yep.
You have to.
Yep.
That's right. If you can't do a one-man show, don't even buy this book.
Yep.
But you also have to train for the singing part for 20 years to just train. Yeah, my mother and father were terrific singers. I was from Ireland, so I came over, and my mom taught me everything. She just took the time and doing the scale, and I just hated it. Of course, I would rather be outside, and it was just a natural gift that I had though too, and she knew that, and she was just feeding it. She was just giving me some. But I give all credit to her because it's just it's a gift, and it's. I'm so thankful I quit smoking 5 years ago because I wouldn't be able to sing like I am now if I had continued to smoke. So but the training, like to sing, you have to work at it as anything. Mm-hmm. And I get that question from kids that come up. Oh, I want to do voice work. How do I get into that? And that's like, have you got it? Have you got 3 hours? Basically, you just go for it. You just go. You just do it. Yeah. I gave up everything I had to move to Toronto to get into what my love was music. And I gave up the CA course I was on that my father wanted me to do. He died in 1969. And I came to Toronto and said, that's it. Threw everything out the window, my education, all that stuff, and came here to sing and got where I am today because living on grilled cheese, those days, and unemployment insurance and mom sending me money. To cover your rent stuff. And then when it hits finally, after about a year of pushing and trying to meet people and get your foot in the door, it happens. And then they hear you. When they finally hear you, it's like, oh, wow, where have you been? And I said, I've been around for the last year and a half trying to get your attention. No, you're too busy because they were too busy making their money. But anyways, it all fell into place and it's been a wonderful life.
That's amazing.
That sounds excellent.
That's so amazing.
Yeah, it has been.
All right, so
the highlight being, and like one of the major highlight was being His Majesty Logan, this little hunk guy here. What a wonderful.
245 pounds.
Built like a fire hydrant.
Fire hydrant. Got the seriousness, but got them jokes too.
Yep, still a little funny.
All right, so we got one more question before we get into a lightning round real fast. Now, there has been rumors going on for a while now that the X-Men series is coming back. What do you have to say on that? Can you tell us anything? Do you know anything about it? Because people are anxious and they want to know.
I know they are, and they're all wondering like, what is Disney waiting for? Which we all are. Because they're screening the whole thing again, right, all over again for a whole new generation. Are seeing the X-Men now on Disney Plus for free, I might add. So they've been talking about, because everyone's into it, including Eric and Julia. George is ready. I keep calling her Rogue. Lenore's ready. Lenore, myself, Chris Potter who played Gambit. We're all ready to do it, and it's just they want to do one more season and Eric says, as Eric put it, to like wrap everything up. And put it the way we wanted to do, because it was kind of a hurried conclusion where like Professor X heads off to another planet or something and she's dying. And then apparently this one is going to be, we all get together because we're all in shambles back at the home, the mansion. No one's in charge, and we all just head off to try and find him and bring him back. And he just ties up the loose ends, and then he apparently goes back feeling happy that it's come to the end that he wanted to see for his X-Men and stuff. But I don't know. That could be absolutely totally wrong. But I think that's Eric, along those lines Eric was talking about, and they're the writers, so they're all ready. And Larry Houston said, I don't know what they're waiting for. Because the people are so anxious and so behind it, it's crazy.
Everybody wants it.
Oh, yeah.
I know. And I know, so Brian, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
Yeah,
we need to start hashtag where's the X-Men?
I know.
Hashtag where's the X-Men? Hashtag Disney, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, it's out there. It's out there, though. There's all kinds of that's been going on for this. And it's just over the last month again, it's been like a big surge again. And like, there's talk now. They're talking really seriously now. Yeah.
And then by now, Disney Plus has been out for some time, so people that are started watching X-Men when Disney Plus came out have already finished it, probably rewatched it. I know. I
know.
And
yeah.
So, like Brian said, the show ended on a massive cliffhanger.
Huge cliffhanger.
And then now for people just watching the show with the cliffhanger, and they're like, "Aw," and then they find out news that it's coming back. They need to know.
Yeah.
There's more people now that are just super angry.
I know.
So people at home, you need to yell at Disney as much as possible so we can get this X-Men series back. We need this conclusion.
Yes, we
need
do. We
this
really
closure
do.
in our lives.
Oh, it would be so good. It would be so good. I can just imagine. It would just be phenomenal.
And to have all of you guys back again.
Oh, yeah.
OMG. Not only would it just be like, a new story for the final season, but the nostalgia of all the favorite voice actors coming back and living these characters. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. Lenore. Yeah, Lenore still has her voice. I just loved her voice. Lenore, the southern drawl. Like, what's the matter, sugar? Yeah. And Gambit was like, what's up, Shep? Like that, Gambit, the Rogue.
Gambit is I love Gambit and Rogue. Gambit is my favorite character because you can't tell by my showman voice right now, but I am originally from Louisiana. So when I was a kid, I related so much to Gambit because he was from my neck of the woods, and then then learning his story from being a thief to an X-Men, going from bad to good and rewriting wrongs and everything. My Gambit was the raging Cajun to me. Gambit was dude, and then his love story later on with Rogue was fantastic. But Rogue,
it was dumb as a door, though. Gambit, out of my way, Cajun. Out of my way, Cajun. What else did he call him? Cajun and something else. What his other nickname? Cajun and out of my way, Gumbo. Gumbo. I loved Gumbo. Out of my way, Gumbo. He's just kind of slow. Gambit was just kind of, okay. What?
Yeah, I'll take that. That's not an insult.
No. Oh, no.
Wolverine, I could have been called worse. I'll take Gumbo. Yeah, you keep doing your thing. Yeah.
Oh, the ladies love Gambit.
Yeah, they do because of the.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
He's got that Cajun charm.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to get into our lightning round. This is the last thing that we do with every single guest that we've ever had on our live show or now our Tonight Show. So what we're going to do is a lightning round of favorites. We're going to go back and forth asking you, what's your favorite so-and-so? And you have to answer that as quickly as possible.
I do.
Pretty
Yes.
easy. It's pretty great.
All right. So
Jeez, maybe I should drink.
there you
Go ahead.
go. Well, then we'll start it off quick. Favorite beer?
Labatt Blue.
Okay.
That
You've never heard of it.
I was
No,
gonna say I haven't
I've
heard of
not.
it. I would really like to find this beer.
Otherwise, Budweiser.
Otherwise,
Hey,
Budweiser.
there we go.
I know Budweiser.
That's my go-to.
You can send us a 6-pack of that other one after the show. That'll be fun. All right. Favorite hardware store?
Favorite hardware store.
This is one that we ask everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be cool because usually there's only 3 choices here. Now
Home Hardware.
home hardware.
See?
That's the first home hardware that
Never
we've
heard of
gotten.
home hardware. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Favorite fast food place?
McDonald's.
Classic.
Classic McDonald's.
Classic.
Favorite home cooked meal?
Oh wow. Lasagna.
Hey, that's
lasagna.
good.
All right.
That's good.
Favorite singer? And you
Tony
can't say
Bennett.
that. Tony Bennett.
That's unfair because I love all of them. Tony Bennett, Harry Nilsson. That's about it.
All right.
All right. Favorite movie?
Billy Vera
Billy Vera.
Okay.
and the Beaters. Yeah.
Favorite movie?
Oh, that's easy. Forrest Gump.
Hey,
Forrest
okay.
Gump, such a good
Wow. All right.
movie. All right. Favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show.
Yes.
X-Men.
X-Men. All right.
Nice,
Short,
nice,
quick.
yep.
Can't hate on that one. All right. Favorite place to visit?
Dublin, Ireland.
Dublin,
I bet.
Ireland.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite.
That's where I was
color?
born.
Oh, that's where you were. I knew you were Irish. I didn't know that
Yeah.
you were born in Dublin.
Yeah, I was born in Dublin.
Favorite color?
Blue.
My favorite. Yeah, now we're best friends. Now we're best friends. All right. You got any favorites?
I'm good.
All right.
Good. You've went through all of them. Just
All right.
about.
Last question. Favorite YouTube show that you've been on?
What's favorite YouTube show that I've been on? I'm going to go with Metrotham Tonight.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. That's right, he says. Yay, Mom. Mom, I got the right answer.
That was it. That was the answer I was looking
Yeah.
for. All right. So, Cal, thank you so much for coming on.
You are so welcome, guys.
Love you so much. Thank you for
I love you back.
Gotham the first year and doing this show. We can't wait to talk to you again, and we hope that you have a great night. And everybody back home, we'll see you here in a little bit.
I love you back. And I got your back.